Are you ready for a wild ride into the wild world of clutter? Symptomatic Disposaphobia. Pamela Johnson.
You can find it in your bedroom, in your office, on your desk, at work, in the attic, in the basement. It's caused by a disease that's becoming endemic called symptomatic Disposaphobia. Its main result is clutter. Now, I'm calling it symptomatic Disposaphobia because it implies that there's symptoms when you can't throw things away and clutter increases. Now, this isn't necessarily true for the entire population, so let me step into my scientific role for just a minute and make a graph to explain what I mean about the different sorts of population. This is one of those charts where as something increases, something else increases, or draw a curve. Now I'm going to plot clutter on a vertical axis. From zero clutter to rampant clutter. On the horizontal axis, I'm going to plot stress. From very little stress to huge amounts of freaking stress. Most of us, as clutter increases, our stress increases, it's some kind of a line going something like this, on an average. We can tolerate some, but the more the clutter rises, the more the stress rises. However, in every population, there are extremophiles. It might be a curve that looks like this. Vastly increasing clutter with very little stress. We call these people slobs. I'm sure you've met one or two. On the other extreme, we have this batch. Control freaks. Everything has to be in place. And if even a little bit of it goes out, they come. Okay. Those people are often on medication. Or they're a cloister or they're in the military. They can't handle anything that's a little bit messy, and life is messy, as we know. So, all right, why is this important? So what? Clutter is stressful. If you walk into a house that's an absolute screaming pigsty, most of us kind of go, oh, get me out of here. It just kind of gets your gut. It just makes your skin crawl. It saps your energy. Have you ever tried to find an important receipt in the mess on your desk and you just couldn't? Or lost your cell phone somewhere in the garage someplace and can't find it? You have to call your own phone number to find your phone just so you can hear it ringing? I have done this. Stress takes up time. It takes up time because you look for stuff you can't find. You take a long time getting out the door because there's so many distractions, you just can't get things done in an orderly fashion. And it may cost you money. Back to that lost receipt, if you need it for a tax return, you may lose a deduction, or being able to return something that requires a receipt, you can't find it. There's lots of other reasons why this is important, psychologically, spiritually. It's too large a topic to get into all, so we'll move on to the next part and see where the heck are you going with this? Roadmap. Today I'm going to talk about types of clutter, why we have clutter, and we're going to end up with talking about what we can do about it. Any one of these is worth a seminar all by itself, so I'm going to just skim the cream off the top. Types of clutter. I've already sort of alluded to physical clutter, stuff just laying around. You trip over those roller skates in the middle of your living room. But there's also paper clutter. This is a big one for me. It's like junk mail. You kind of open it up, and that looks kind of interesting, so I'll just put that on my table and recycle the rest of it, and the pile grows. And grows. And grows. And pretty soon you want to just run out of the house or burn it all. Email. If you go on a trip, you come back and your email box is like 5 miles long, you don't even want to look at it. You have to delete. It takes half the day sometimes. I could also include some things that are getting prevalent now that can be considered clutter if they get out of control. Facebook, Twitter, all those things. They can be mental, electronic clutter. Old clothing. Hey, I have a problem with this. You gain a few pounds, you put it in the back of the closet, saying, I'll lose weight, and then I'll just get into it. It's like, and you don't. And it's sitting there 3 years later. That's a good idea to touch it. Keepsakes, knickknacks, gewgaws, bits of stuff. They just sort of collect themselves and they pile up in your closet and on all the dresser forms. You kind of know what I mean there. Just, it happens, and etc. Why do we have clutter? Well, for one thing, a lot of stuff that we hold on to has memories attached to it. And we have a little bit of fear that if we throw away that little something, we're throwing away the memory too. Guilt. My aunt so-and-so gave me this old broken up china set, and it was a heirloom. I always hated it, but if I get rid of it, my family will hate me. Though you never know, fear of shortage. I can't tell you how many times I buy a new pair of tennis shoes, and I don't throw away the old pair. I only have 3 pairs of tennis shoes in my closet because you never know. I might need them. Finally, overwhelmed. You look at the mess, it's way too much to deal with, and so what happens? You decided, I don't have time for this, I'll close that closet door and not look at it, and then it just kind of gets worse. And etc. What to do about it? Well, first of all, the first step to do is decide you need to do something about it. Be ready to know that I'm fed up. I'm going to take this on. Decide you're ready. Take a little bit at a time. Just make a vow to yourself, this afternoon I'm going to clean off the kitchen counter. If it's a big job, ask some friends to come over. Say, I need you to help me clean out this closet. Afterwards, we'll just have some cheese and wine and crackers, and we can go and enjoy the things. But get some help. Decide you want to. Get large trash bags. Ask yourself, if it's out of sight, is it out of mind? If the answer is yes, it goes. Delete, donate, discard, and recycle. Sometimes it takes a lot of courage to toss stuff out. But when you do, and you look at the nice clean space and the order that's there, it feels good. It's almost luminous. I know when I clean out a space like that and I go, I just want to stand there and stare at it and go, ah. It's a little silly to stare inside of your closet for a really long period of time, but it looks so good when you do that. Today, I want you each to make a vow to yourself. Remembering that clutter is everywhere and it has many different shapes, that there's lots of reasons to have clutter, and there's lots of things you can do about it. Make a vow today to pick some area in your life that's cluttery and clean it up. And then you can move from disposaphobia and clutter to luminous tranquility.
Oh my God.
Madam Clerk.